Okay, so in this video, we're going to learn about how do we create AI talking characters like this one.
I love how much I've learned in the AI Automation Masterclass. Best purchase ever.
In this video, we're going to learn how do we create AI talking characters. We're going to learn two main tools in this section, which is using Hedra and Fall AI. And in the next video, we're going to learn about how do we use Google's most advanced video generation model, VO3, at the time of this recording to also create AI talking characters in addition to some other stuff. So the focus for this video, is going to be learning how to use Hedra and Fall AI. And without further ado, let's jump right in. Okay, so first up, we're going to look at how do we use Hedra to create one of these AI talking characters. And it follows a very simple process of we give it a reference image, then we choose an audio. This can be one that we've recorded of our own voice, or it can be AI generated. You choose the voice that you wanted, and you can choose an aspect ratio quality and get your video generated. But rather than talking about it, let me show you how it works. So if I come into hedra.com and you can create a free account. Earlier, you could only do this with a paid account, but now they've added a free plan to their pricing plans as well. So you get 300 free credits, which is what I've signed up for at the moment. And next up, we are going to generate a video. So if we come into this video tab, it's going to show us these few main sections. So first, we're going to add a character, which is going to be our reference image. Then we're going to add the speech, like the voice. We can add like some context or describe the scene, but this is not really required. And lastly, we can choose the aspect ratio. We can also choose the settings, the resolution. At the time of this recording, 720p is the max it allows. And the duration you can just leave as auto and let it take however long it needs to take. Okay, so for our reference image, I wanted to create like a talking baby video, which are going viral on the internet. So what I did was I came into our, or rather my favorite tool, which is Nano Banana. I just came in here and said, can you generate an image of a baby talking into a podcast mic? It gave me this. I didn't particularly like the ring light in the background, so I just asked it to remove the ring light in the background, and then we have this. And just like that, we have our reference image ready to go. And now we're going to set it up in Hedra. Okay, so if I come back into Hedra and upload my image, we've got our image ready to go. Next up, we're going to add our audio. So we can choose to upload one, record one, but for this example, I'm just going to choose create. I'm going to paste in a text prompt. And here, what you will see is you have different voices to choose from. This is from a tool called 11 Labs that we discussed earlier. And if we look at a few examples, it shows you a preview of what the voice will sound like. So you can choose any of these. One that I liked was Professor Marshall, which you will see now in action. So we choose the voice that we want. We just enter the text. It's pretty self-explanatory. We can choose the ratio that we want, whether we want 1:1, 16:9. Yep, I am going to choose 16:9, I guess. Hit apply, and or let's just see what 1:1 looks like. Okay, cool. Let's just leave it as 1:1. We can tweak these settings. So we're going to leave the resolution as 720, duration as automatic. We could give a description in here, but it's not required. So that's it for the setup section. And so now if I click generate, let's see the output that we get. And so now this is done. If I come in here and hit play,
I absolutely love how much I've learned in the AI Automation Masterclass. Best purchase ever.
I think that's absolutely incredible to think this is entirely generated with AI, right? And you can experiment with these when you use your own characters, your own text. You can experiment with audios. There are so many to choose from. You can use your own voice and effectively create some sort of cloned version of you saying any kind of AI text, which I think is super cool. Um, but yeah, like the applications are limitless. It just depends on you, your imagination and creativity. but that's pretty much how you do this using Hedra. And I think the user interface, everything about it is flawless. So yeah, that's it, how we can generate AI talking characters using Hedra. And now we're going to look at how do we also do this in FAL or Fall AI. So I've got a link here to the model we're going to be using. It's this AI avatar model and the single text version of this model. So all we have to do is choose our image, choose the text, choose the voice, and it's pretty straightforward, except for this last part, which is sometimes kind of a nuisance of knowing how many frames to use. But we look at a demo in action. So if I come over to FAL AI and I upload our same baby image, um, the next part is you just have to enter a text input. I've given it the same text input. The voice here, one annoying thing that I've also noticed is you can't get a preview of the voice like you can in Hedra, right? But one thing I've also noticed is a lot of these voices, because they are taken from 11 Labs, are kind of the same voices you have in Hedra. Like you have a Daniel here, you have pretty much a lot of similar names. Like there's a Brian, there's a Chris, quite a few. So if I search for Brian, we have a Brian in here. So if you wanted a preview, you can check them out in Hedra before using them here. For this example, I've just chosen Daniel's voice. And for the prompt, I'm just going to give it this baby talking into podcast microphone. He appears engaged and expressive, suggesting a podcast or voiceover. I just modified the default prompt a bit to see what kind of output we get. And now, if I click run, we will see the output that we get from this. Okay, so we have our output ready. Let me play it for you.
I absolutely love how much I've learnt in the AI Automation Masterclass. Best purchase.
I think that's fantastic, except for the last part which got cut off, right? And this was coming back to our school lesson, which is the slight nuisance of working with this model and the way the UI is set up. So what you actually need to do is know how many number of frames you need to input, which I think is ridiculous, but yeah. So how do you know how many frames to input is basically if you think of videos, which they are nothing but a sequence of images, right? So you have a certain number of frames per second. And what I found is that having 150 frames is approximately like having two quick sentences. So if you divide 150 frames by 25 frames per second, which is, say, the setting that is used to shoot the video, so that would give you approximately 6 seconds. Right now, in our case, we actually have about five. So this might be a bit much. So we may just do, say, 145 or 146. Um, the 5 seconds was because it got cut short. So if we had a longer frames per second, it would have worked. We'll just try 150. And the advantage of doing this is even if it does get cut a little bit, it's not too expensive for you to regenerate and tweak. So at the time of this recording, you can see it costs about zero point 0.2 per second. So if you have a 5 second clip or 6 second clip, that's literally just $1. So I wish the interface was better. Uh, but just as a takeaway, so you can think of two quick sentences as approximately 150 frames. The resolution we've just set to 480p, but if we wanted 720p, we could do that as well. But they also mentioned the price will be doubled. For the sake of this demo, we're just going to leave it at 480p. And now if I hit run again, another setting that I just wanted to show you while our video loads is that this model also has a multi-TTS support. And multi-TTS is just multi-text to speech, basically. So in this example, you can see we have two characters, and then you can enter individual inputs for each character to say. And so like the rest of it stays pretty much the same. You can give it a prompt, tweak the original settings, choose the voices, number of frames, all of that. So that pretty much stays the same. But what I've noticed is the output with two people or using the multi TTS doesn't work as well as using the single TTS, single text to speech. So yeah, that's just what I found, but you can always experiment and play around with these. and see like what outputs you get. Besides, I think all of these models are only going to get better with time. So maybe when you are doing this, it's improved and you can get much higher quality outputs. But yeah, that's just for you to know and keep in your back pocket if you ever need to. So now that our video generation is done, let me quickly play it for you.
I absolutely love how much I've learnt in the AI Automation Masterclass.
I think that's amazing that that's generated completely with AI. It's done a pretty great job. One thing it still missed though is the best purchase ever, which I think is mainly because of the number of frames. And that's why I don't particularly like this model that you have to calculate. Like in the previous iteration, we had a lower number of frames, but it generated more. But in this example, for some reason, it hasn't. I will try and experiment and add like more number of frames and see if that works. But basically, that's the gist of it, and that's why like I just prefer Hedra to using this. It's just that yeah, like with Fal AI, it's just credits based, and you don't have to have an active subscription. But Hedra is free to use, so especially if you're on the free plan, more than good enough to especially get you familiar with the tool. And then if you need to get a paid plan or add more credits, you can always do that. So those were two models you can use to create AI talking characters. The third one that we can use is also Google's VO3, which is fantastic but a little expensive. So you can use VO3 on Fal AI as well. It's still expensive, but rather than getting a paid plan and stuff like that, you can just use it credits based. But we will talk about VO3 in the next video. So that's it for this one. Just one thing for you to take away: whenever you're doing this, you just follow a simple 3-step process. You can generate a reference image in Nano Banana if it's a fictional character, or you can generate one of yourself. Just take a picture and upload it. You can generate a script if you wanted to have, like, say, an ad or any piece of text that you want written. So either type it out or get a script done with GPT, Claude, whatever your use case may be. And then you can use your own voice, or you can choose one of the voices from 11 Labs. Hedra has a bunch for you to choose from. And as always, you can always just upload your own as well. So, yep, that was it for this video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.